So, whenever you're tackling something that is difficult, and I kind of got to this in previous videos, but I still want to address it, which is the power of wanting something. The power of needing something to manifest into your life. So we use the word want interchangeably, but there's actually two definitions of the word want. The first one is if all things were equal. And what that means is I want to be skinny if the cost of achieving it is the same as the cost for being fat. Meaning, if I can eat bullshit and cake and ice cream and gummy bears all day, every day, and look like a supermodel, I would want that. I don't want it enough to give up those things. But if I could have both, I would choose that other than being a worthless fat fuck. That's what that means. It means that I want to be a millionaire. But I also want to achieve it by working 8 hours a day. I want to be able to show up on work a little bit late, leave when I want to, have flexible hours, still have time with my family, but also get paid $1 million for that job. Oh, the cost of $1 million is you work 16 hours a day and you don't really get to see your wife and kids except for, maybe one weekend a month, and then it's you're looking at your phone and trying to answer business calls and they're all looking at you like why aren't you there, and your wife might divorce you later. That's the cost of being a millionaire. You wake up at 4 in the morning and you exercise and you get your mind right, and then you start doing emails and planning and doing all of the deep work before anybody else is even awake. That's the cost of being a millionaire. Oh, you don't want that? You want to be a millionaire, but you don't want to do that kind of work. Understood. That's the if all things were equal. But they're not equal. There's no time or place on earth where those things are equal. So any time that you're going to achieve anything, it doesn't matter the cost. And even then, you're not guaranteed to get what you want. But you're never going to get it the other way. You're going to get some sort of interchangeable mediocrity if what you do is if all things are equal. So once you've decided this is worth it to me, the other thing that you need to understand is that yes, it can cost money, it can cost resources, but the number one thing is guaranteed to cost you. No matter what that thing is going to cost you time. There is nothing on earth that you can do that is not going to cost you time and effort. And everyone kind of understands that, but here's what that actually means. It's going to cost some other things time and effort. Because as much as a lot of economists and people and intellectuals want to talk about this, time is the one resource that is a zero-sum game. You have 24 hours in a day. That's all you get. That's all anybody ever gets. Tomorrow's not promised. There is no guarantee long term. So, with that 24-hour day, you're probably going to spend 8 of it sleeping, which I actually recommend. I'm not one of those people who's like, if you really want to do this, you're never going to be able to sleep 8 hours a day. Do you know the people who say that are the people who don't need 8 hours of sleep? I'm not joking when I say that. Because me, when I go on long term with no sleep, I'm not creative, I'm not productive, I'm not actually doing the things that I need to do. So, but if I'm not getting enough sleep, then I'm not actually being productive. So, okay, you've set aside 8 hours. You're probably going to spend an hour or so eating. So now you're down from 16 down to 15 hours. You need to exercise a couple hours a day. That's difficult for a lot of people because they want to watch their shows. You probably have at least an 8-hour work, right? Maybe there's an extra hour for your lunch break in there, so let's call that 9. Let's call the commute there and back another hour. So that's 10 hours of your 16-hour day. 15 if you count the meal that you have to make for yourself. So now you're down to 5 hours of the day that you actually get to do for yourself, right? Because right now you still have to pay the bills, but you also want to achieve something. So an hour or two to exercise out of that remaining 5 hours is a lot. It can be, right? It might take you an hour in the morning to shower and get ready. So like all of this is you're juggling. Maybe you have kids and you gotta spend time with them. I'm not saying this is easy. So if you're going to do something for an hour, 2 hours a day, which is realistically the amount of time it's going to take to invest to do anything of importance. You want to get healthy, you need to work out an hour or two a day. You want to learn a new task, you want to learn a new skill that's going to be productive to you. It's going to take an hour or two a day. Oh, you want to run your business, it might be 3 or 4 hours a day, minimum 1 or 2. I don't care how automated it is. And then you're always going to be learning, and you're always going to be doing research and all these things. You're going to need to spend a couple hours a day, at least. Well, where's that couple hours going to come from? Where's it going to come from? That's the biggest issue of want. Because in order to spend that couple of hours doing whatever it is that you're doing, then you need to cut something out of your life, and that's difficult for people. And here's the other part to this, right? Let's say you're not being productive. Let's say this is, alcohol, or this is, cutting foods out. If you were eating junk food all the time, right? Or let's do a better one. Let's say you're going to the bar all the time because you have an alcohol problem. Okay. So you go to a bar 3-4 times a week, but usually when people go to the bar, they're there for hours. So let's say that you're one of those people, every Friday night you're at the bar. You're at the club, doesn't matter. You're doing some sort of habit, right? Okay, so now you're not going to the bar anymore. Well, what are you doing on Friday? Well, I don't know, I didn't have plans, I always went to the bar. Okay, well, what are you going to do with yourself? So you sit at home and you watch television, you're like, nah, television is not nearly as much fun as I had with my friends at the bar. And then maybe you go to the bar once and you're like, this is no fun sober, and maybe you mess up and you have a drink and you're like, okay, I cannot go back to the bar. What are you going to do with yourself? You need to do something with that time. Period. Like if you are cutting something out, you need to replace it. And if you're replacing something, you actually have to figure out what you're cutting out. So, what's it going to be? What are you willing to do? What is it that you want in life enough to completely overturn everything that you're doing, to stop all of the things that bring you pleasure? What is it going to take in your life? What is the goal that you need that's worth all that? And if you find that goal in yourself, don't let anything stop you.